why I actually like Nicocado avocado. Don't blink, it's your boy Ink with another video. Do I have to repeat the title? Did I lost my cap? I left the cup for this shit, but it's absolutely phenomenal. I was. So this is behind the scene. This is really behind the scene. I'm always trying to be honest with you guys. I'm always trying to be transparent. I wanted to make this video. When I started making the playlist for the content creator I liked, Nicocado was gonna be one of the first I did, but Nicocado avocado is very controversial. People don't like him, and I feel like I'm gonna get some hate for liking him, but I actually like him. You know, I'm gonna be quite honest. Do I think Nicocado is without flaws? Do I think that he made some questionable decision? Do I think he's a fucking genius? I don't know how to make it bigger. Yes, I think he's a fucking genius. I think Nicocado. So how should I put this video? Because this is gonna be a long video. Okay, so Nicocado. Oh, I have to do it like that. Yeah, I have no choice. Nicocado came into my life where I was looking for new content, right? And I saw this guy out. So basically, I'm at work, and I can listen to music, right? And I'm streaming, and I can listen to music. So Nicocado came into my life before I was streaming, and I was just looking for video to look online. Nicocado was basically a radio show with somebody eating. He was talking about every single subject. What I love, my first really interesting part about Nicocado was that he was able to talk about everything and anything. And I'm straight. Okay, I'm straight. I'm not homophobic. I'm not transphobic. But I was listening to this guy, Nicocado Avocado, and he was talking. One of the first videos I watched was how he did his Uber driver. Now he talking about having sex with his Uber driver, and I was like, "Holy shit! What the fuck am I watching? What the fuck am I listening to?" But then again, I was like, "Yo, this guy is honest enough to talk about this." And as a person who's constantly rambling and person with an ADHD that is going from A to B to A to D, right? This content is amazing to me. He makes an hour 40 minutes video on Daniel Brigoli. He makes a 2 hours. Oh my god, he made it 3 hours on a response to a response with Veronica Wang. And again, do I think that he's a flawless human being? No. I did a video with Tro on why it was so good that we had a never-ending nightmare of Nicocado avocado, and I think Tro is on point. I think Nicocado is very Do you if a person is what I want to say I don't know if Nicocado is a good person. I want to make that very clear. I don't know. I feel like he's playing a character on scene, and I don't know the true intention of Nicocado Avocado. What I do know is that he's entertaining as fuck, and I'm gonna be quite honest. I'm gonna be super honest with you, and I know this is not gonna be everybody's cup of tea. Fuck it. I'd rather be entertained than listening to a good person. I love listening to a good person. If I could watch the whole day, I could watch a good person. A whole day I could watch a documentary. A whole day I could watch something that's gonna teach me something. But once in a while, I need that person to entertain me. Nicocado was that person to entertain me, and it sucks because it's really bad. When I discovered Nicocado avocado, I had I had watched Kid Boga for a while. I had watched every single video of Kid Boga, so it wasn't per se it wasn't some content I was super down with anymore because I watched the whole thing in a short amount of time. So I was looking for new content, and Nicocado came in, and Nicocado he was doing videos for 3 years, and he had multiple channel. And over this time, there was over 400 videos of 20 minutes each. That's 200 hours. Even at the time the speed, that's 100 hours. And the best thing about Nicocado, he was constant. He was daily. And you can hate the guy, but he was consistent. He was a hard worker. You can hate the guy, but he was entertaining. You know? In a perfect world. So this is why I love Nicocado. This is why. Yes, he's entertaining. Wait, yes. I think what he's talking about is interesting. He's talking about everything from veganism, from sexuality to the state of the world, what it's like to immigrate, what it's like to having a husband, what it's like to have pets. You know, it was a wide array of things, and I think that's interesting because again, a lot of those subjects, being vegan, I know nothing about having a husband. I know nothing about it. Being gay, I have no clue. Right? So thinking about it, that's different perspective. It was a new world for me, and Nicocado was really open-minded. He was really, he was talking to you about veganism, talking to you about homosexuality, and even for a straight guy who eats meat, I was like, well, I don't feel like I'm being judged. I feel like I'm talking to a friend who is actually explaining those shit to me. And it never felt like, oh, I'm going to teach you this, this, this. Like, I'm going to talk about it. And if you learn something, fine. If you don't learn, entertain. Right? It sucks. It makes me really, really sad, Nicocado. Because 3 months after I discovered him, the whole Tiffany Soul happened, and his content really changed. I love old Nicocado. The video he used to make that then was amazing. Then he became this guy who said, "This is your fault," and he became the guy who basically became a meme. He became a super meme. He was being a caricature of himself. He was doing anything he wanted. He was doing things that are super embarrassing, uh, super embarrassing, extremely embarrassing, things I would never do. But then you realize that his plan was to eat because he's a mukbanger. So basically, he eats. So the content he does is mukbang and then he talks, right? Sometimes he's gonna do violent, but it's very rare. And for 5 years he did that. And those mukbanger, bro, he did some video. He eats fucking 10 piece of chicken. He eats 5 burger. He eats a whole large pizza. He eats a lot. That's not healthy. A lot of people they're being mean because they're saying he's romanticizing the mukbang. He's revolutionizing. He's romanticizing unhealthy behavior. You know, he, he's going to his death. He's gonna kill himself for views, and all of these are true. All of these are true. He was not being healthy. He was going to die quicker. That's what he chose. Wealth versus health. I don't think this is. I don't think this is proper. I don't think it's a good choice, but it's a choice he made for himself. It's his life. It's his body. If a person can abort or choose to keep a baby, they should be able to eat whatever the fuck they want. You know, and yeah, of course, you're promoting obesity, which is bad, which is really fucking bad. I agree. However, I don't think one person can influence a larger group of people to eat like shit. And that one person, I love Nicocado, but I don't think he's the guy to influence people. I think he's an interesting guy. I think he can make points. I think he's actually like entertaining. But would I listen to his advice? No, 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 no. Sorry. Um. Then we have the shift of his content. I could talk about the whole 70s so, but it's not me. I don't do dramas. I don't do drama. I'm sorry. Um. However, like I said, his content changed. And this is when we saw the brilliant Nick, the one that's smart, the one that's really clever. Why? Well, Nick knew he had a husband. Nick knew if you hit a woman on camera, that's done. Nick was doing clickbait. Nick knew that, hey, I have an husband. We're two men. If two men hit each other on camera, who gives a shit, right? So he was able to push the content to a next level. He was able to push an extremely toxic relationship. But the, the greatest and biggest flaw of Nicocado is you don't know how much is real. You don't know how much of the persona he is. Like there's some moments where he's a complete dick and said, "It's your fault I'm fat." I think Nicocado is actually a tragedy. I do really like Nicocado. I know I said so before, but I do really like him. I love the content, but it's also a whole life in 5 years. It's also so much, and behind the scene also, because he was screaming for help. He was like saying it's your fault as a joke, but it was our fault. We were the one that gave him view, that were pushing him to eat a lot, and he understood that, but he knew he had to make the money. Now he's not making content anymore. He doesn't have to work a day in his life anymore, and good for him. But there was a social experiment being condoned, being did. For example, people were complaining. It was an experience. It was absolutely an experience. For example, with Nicocado, people that were saying, "Oh, you eat too much," but the second he wouldn't eat enough, people would complain, "Oh, you didn't finish your food. You're wasting. Oh, this is not a big portion. It's not a mukbang." So it was dealing with a lot of pressure, like the whole fighting with your husband. He was being called toxic, so might as well be acting toxic. He realized that clickbait was the way of making money, and I think he fell out of love. I think the issue with Nicocado Avocado is he fell in love with making videos, but he fell out of love with the experience of making video, the public backlash, the public response. And I think if you're not a good person, you should get response. However, the amount of hate this guy got is bad. It's bad. It's really bad. It's really fucking bad. I wouldn't be able to survive that. I would stop. I would stop just like him. Right? Um. So, but we had also this genius who was able to capitalize on the hate. He was able to say, "Oh, people, they're gonna hate me. They're gonna watch me to hate me." I'm watching this guy DSP. Do I think DSP is a bad person? Eh, yes and no. I think there's some good moments. I think there's some bad moments, and I love watching the detractor content because the detractor, they're exposing him. Do I believe that he deserves all the hate? No. Do I believe that he's the most horrible person on human on earth? No. But I do understand that a lot of the content he makes, a lot of the views a lot of the super chats he gets, a lot of the monetary results he gets are from the tractor. So yes, they're ruining his business, but they're just main business. Um, if you were a chicken farmer, this is a super simple example, and your main client was another chicken farmer, right? And they would sell at profit your product because they had a connection. Then you have two choice: not sell your chicken because you're getting ripped off and be hungry, or sell your chicken at a lower price, but you manage to survive. It's all a question of how far you're willing to go. Nicocado went all the way, and now he's resting. I don't know. I've been asked the question when I was younger a lot. My father always asked me this question. I don't know why. If you had a chance to work for 10 years, not to work for the rest of your life, would you do it? And I would say yes. And that's exactly what Nicocado did. But then you sacrifice your whole existence, your whole image, because Nicocado cannot go in the streets anymore. He's 30. That's a life. He's not gonna have a family because he doesn't want kids. So you're basically not having any social life. It's tough business. So yeah, that's a 12 minutes and 45 on a Nicocado. A video that should have taken 3 minutes, but hey, I ramble. I love you guys. Peace.